companies like Creality and ANET, along with being producers of our own PLA filament in over 50 colors and patterns. We also have a wide selection of 3D printing resins from Apply Lab work that are built for Formlabs, Anycubic, and Moai printers, just to name a few. We are also a 3D printing service bureau specializing in stereolithography and FDM technologies, using only the best professional 3D printers to produce virtually any model. So whether you need a medical, dental, or general purpose model, we've got you covered. So check us out today at www.canyon3d.com. Place an order using the promo code podcast and get a 15% discount. This offer won't last, so act fast to take advantage of this special offer. Peace.
Peace and greetings. Welcome back to Minds Connect with Ty Canyon and myself, Benny Martin. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, not much, bro. Just had a little bit of a hiatus with the show. Unfortunately, life gets in the way sometimes, and we're gonna expound on that a little bit during this show. So, just glad to be back. Just glad to be alive. Glad to be healthy, and glad to be in good spirits. So, looking forward to a great show, my bro.
Absolutely, same here, man. And glad to be back. I'm glad to know that you're healthy. And we'll talk about the hiatus shortly. Just to let everyone know, this podcast is going to be about COVID-19, and we're going to discuss what it is and our experiences with it, and just kind of talk about how it's affecting the world and what you can do personally to, I guess, get around it, or make decisions based on how it may affect you in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Basically, we want to talk about that. We're going to talk about, and Benny kind of already touched on this, but just some preventative things that you can do either before you get it or while you have it, or just things that you can do to help you out whenever you're in that, if you ever come across this situation, which is COVID. Myself, I had a bit of a go with it. I actually was supposed to go on a 6-day trip and ended up staying basically in the U.S. Because on the 19th of July, I tested positive for COVID, and during my trip, and it delayed my return back to, I'm sure everybody on the podcast that listens to the show knows that I live in Germany, and that basically, delayed that trip. So lost out on returning home, had to spend several days in some very expensive hotels because, Miami, I was in Miami, and Miami is not cheap. So there was nothing, you can't get a decent hotel room in that town for under $300. So basically I was stuck there for about 10 days, spent, the entire time in my hotel room, couldn't leave, couldn't really do anything, didn't want to do anything. But of course, you want to, protect others and think about people other than yourself. So I stayed out of people's way, stayed in my room. And then finally, I tested positive again for it about maybe 5 days later, because I had been hearing conflicting, things from people that have had it, and people that, that know people that have had it. And they said that it could leave your system as early as, 7 days or so. So I was at the 7th day, took it again. I still had it. So finally I just said, you know what, I'm just going to drive home. So I live, my hometown is Buffalo, New York. I drove from Miami to Buffalo in 3 days with COVID, ducked in the hotel, ducked out, and then finally made it here on a Saturday evening. I believe that was like the 20. Yeah, I don't recall the actual date, but it was about a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it was a bit of it was hard in the sense that you know, I basically I'm driving around with it, and I'm going all these different places, but mainly as far as symptoms. So I had mild symptoms, and I'm going to touch on that in a later on when I talk about some preventative things. Fortunately for me, I had mild symptoms. I had some slight issues with breathing in, like taking deep breaths. So doing that was hard to do, but I learned a few things along the way, particularly with yoga, that actually helped out with that, and I'm going to talk about that when I finish the whole COVID story, as far as symptoms and everything. So I had these mild symptoms. I basically just again stayed out of people's way, stayed in my room, didn't had little interaction with people, and then also the lower part of my body, like my around my abdomen, that area was very sore. It felt like it didn't feel like I got like hit there. It just felt like it's just this weird feeling where it feels like you might have got like maybe got the wind knocked out of you or something like that. I don't know if people ever played like football in sport, and in other sports, contact sports, where you hit somebody or you get hit. Most of the time when I played high school, it was me getting hit. It was me getting ran over. But that's another story. So if you ever, you're right, yeah, exactly. So if you ever like had that feeling, that's kind of how it felt for me when I had COVID in the lower part of my like abdomen in that area. But that was pretty much it. Didn't have a fever, wasn't coughing a whole lot, and so again, the symptoms were mild. And I think the reasoning for that is because, for the most part, I live a pretty active lifestyle. I'm always talking about being in the outdoors and hiking and going for walks and stuff like that. I mean, that's a daily thing for me, so I think that, for number one, as far as preventative things that you can do, get active. There's no reason why, unless you have like a really debilitating illness or some sort of just some illness that's keeping you from being able to move and be outside and things like that. We all need to be more active. We need to, if you live in a neighborhood that's like out, that's like even better, like out in the suburbs or out, where there's like a lot of land that's not, occupied. That is like the perfect place to be. Get outside, go for a walk, 15 minutes.
Especially being that this is a respiratory virus, you definitely
absolutely
want to keep active. But yeah, just wanted to touch that real quick.
No, absolutely. So being that it is a respiratory illness, for the most part, walking, cardiovascular health is so important. So if you don't like to run, like I said, go for a walk. If you don't like to walk, ride your bike. If you don't like to ride a bike, ride a skateboard. It doesn't matter. Find a way to be active, to be more active. Because again, I feel like if I wasn't taking care of my body and wasn't in the shape that I'm in, I would have been in trouble. I would have been in a lot of trouble from the breathing standpoint, because just simple things like tying your shoes and like I said, taking a deep breath, it hurt, and I could only imagine if I would have had like an extra 15, 20 pounds up here and in my gut, I would have been in a world of hurt, you know? So again, be more active, get outside. You know, if you like to go to the gym and the gyms are restricted, you know, wherever you might be, work out outside, you know, go out on your, you know, in the front of your house or something and do something, you know, just do something to be active, you know, or just, and you can also do things in the house, do calisthenics, you know, push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, whatever. I mean, you got room, you'll be able to find some room in your crib to do stuff like that. So that's bottom line. Stay active if you're already active and get active if you're not.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let you talk for a minute.
Real quick. Man, recently I was up in New York and I went to Central Park, and the interesting thing about like the city around Central Park is very congested.
Right.
You see a lot of people working out in Central Park. Now, compared to being in the South where everything's spread out, everything's green and you can see through the air, and go into like the city of New York, Manhattan, Brooklyn, you know, Queens, all those areas, Harlem, like where it's congested, the air is very dirty. And you still see people out there working out very hard. There's like literally no excuse, man. If you live in the suburbs, if you live somewhere that's like anywhere, you know what I mean? You can, if you have an able body and you have space, like people work out in prison in that 8x5 cells. So you have the space, the able body, and the will to do it. And just get out there and do some cardio, which will help because, like I said, this is like we said, this is a respiratory virus, and you know, strengthening the lungs will help to lessen the severity of a lot of those symptoms that you may have. I knew someone who had COVID that literally could not stand for more than a few seconds because they were gasping for air so much that it completely knocked them off their feet.
Wow.
So I know like some people who went to the extreme of the symptoms and some people who had very mild symptoms, but like you said, it's people who kept up themselves really well or had really great immune systems. Real quick question. Knowing that you went through all that, you know, coming from where you were coming from in the States, testing positive for COVID, staying down there for 7 days, having to spend all that money, driving home, still being stateside, you know, all of the stuff. How did you deal with that mentally?
Oh, it was tough. I had, that was probably the hardest part of the whole thing was the mental strain that I was under. I was basically stuck in this, you know, stuck there, you know, in Miami, you know. Yeah, I mean, luckily for me, well, not luckily. I mean, I'm very, very blessed, and I'm very, very fortunate to have, to have the financial resources to sustain me through something like that. And when I think about like, man, like people who don't have it, it's like, man, I couldn't imagine. I don't, what on earth would they do? Because I couldn't go to a hospital because I wasn't symptomatic, you know, they wasn't going to admit me when they got like all these other people there that are symptomatic and need the beds and stuff like that. So you can't go to a hospital. You can't go to the airport. I mean, you could probably, you know, sit there and wait, but who's going to wait at the airport for like 10 days to get a negative test? You know, right. That's crazy, you know? And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know what would you do? I didn't have any family or friends in that city, you know, or even close to there, you know? So I'm just like, man, and plus, you don't want to go and infect somebody else, by, going to their house or whatever, so my thought was, I'm just going to drive home, be with my fam. We got a big house back in the up there, so I got room to quarantine if I needed to. But my family is great. They didn't trip at all about me coming. They were like, "Come home for real. Like, we will hold you down. We will take care of you." And that is indicative of who has your back and who really fucks with you. And so I definitely was. It was an eye-opening experience for me, mentally, because like you say, I'm by myself, but fortunately, again, I had the resources to get me to where I needed to get to, but even like to personal things also came into play. I'm not going to get into that, but I had some other personal things that came about that were very devastating to me, and it affected me. But my main focus was to just get healthy, just stay healthy, just stay alive, just stay, just keep doing what you're doing, and during that time, I mean, I'm still, working, I'm still, handling business, and just letting people know, hey, you ain't heard from me because of this, but I still want to do this, I still want to do that. And that's lined up well for me this week and in the next week. So for me, in the beginning, it was very, very mentally draining. But now I feel like I'm in a much better space mentally, and I feel tremendous. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
it's good that you were able to stay on track amidst
Yep.
everything that was going on, man. I think that
Yeah.
what helped to lessen the severity of things too, being able to stand in the middle of a storm and say, you know what, I still gotta focus. I gotta get out of
Yep.
this, and I got other things that I need to take care of, and
Yeah, for sure.
honing those your sight on those things, man. So that was good.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, there were things that did definitely kept me, focused and kept me, wanting to just not give up, whatever, think, of course, my kids, of course, my babies, I'm thinking about them. I'm here. I feel like I'm here to make sure that their lives are better, and that their lives, they live a better life than I did, and that's my goal. That's my mission, is to, I brought them into this world, they're my children, they're my offspring. So I'm here to make sure that their lives are much better than what mine was. So that was my number one focus, was them. And then, of course, your family, and your friends, what I'm saying, you was definitely somebody that I thought about, and was like, man, we got a mission here. We got to keep this this Two Minds Connect movement going, and so that definitely was helpful in ensuring that I kept my mental dexterity going, so that my physical could continue. So yeah, man, that's it, man. That's how it was for me from that standpoint.
Absolutely, man. It's interesting to see what motivating factors keeps a person like level and focused on getting out of something.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in everything that's going on from the
Mhm.
effects of something.
Right.
And like you said, COVID-19 hit. A lot of personal things happened in your life that was devastating,
Mhm.
but you chose not to let those devastations overcome you, so
Right.
that you can focus on the things that you know are important to you, taking care of your
Mhm.
kids, taking care of your personal businesses and stuff like that, and say,
Right.
even though this is going on, these personal things that I have in my life, my family, my business, my podcast, these things are important to me. So I have to elevate above this
Right.
and keep going.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then you figure out a way to approach it, take care of yourself and get back on track. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Yeah, for sure, man. And again, bottom line, I mean, it's they both go both ways, physical and mental strength. Your physical and mental is always tied together. So I talk about this on the show before. Like another thing that helped me get through this was doing yoga. I'm starting to become like a true advocate for yoga. I think it is tremendous. Just a tremendous gift that that the universe and that God has given us, to use to not only improve our physical strength, but our mental strength and and our mental strength as well. I mean, from the standpoint of, my body is like never been, as limber as it is, and the fact that my mental is just so much more clearer now and just so much more in tune with everything else. I gotta definitely give it up to doing yoga. I do it for 45 minutes a day. All I do is watch two videos. There's two videos on YouTube that I watch. One is by Y Lana. She's a yoga. She used to have like a yoga show on PBS, like back in the early 2000s or something like that. And I remember one time I was home on leave and I was up early because at the time I was living in Europe, so my time was off. I was like 5 hours ahead, so I'm up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm just flipping through channels and that pops on. I'm like, oh, let me see what this is all about. And she's got like this real like calm like voice and everything, and you could just kind of she explains like the exercise, the stretches and things like that you do. So I thought that I definitely was on that, doing the yoga even while I had COVID. It definitely helped me tremendously get through that. And then there's another lady that I watch. Her name is Madi Morrison. She has she's German. She's a German like yoga person or whatever, yoga teacher or something like that. But she's got a ton of videos on YouTube. She's got over 1 million subscribers. I mean, and she does like these videos that are, she has the videos, of course, where she's talking in German, but then she's got these couple videos where it's like a 30-minute, like full body yoga inspired stretching, and there's no sound. She's not talking. It's just music playing, and then they show you what the next stretch is going to be. And then, it's like timed out and everything. So, you'll do a stretch for 15 seconds and then it'll be like a beep will go off. And then that'll let you know to get ready to do the next stretch, and you can watch it before you do it and everything. So it's pretty dope. I like the way she's got it laid out. And I just watch those two videos and I do the same two joints and everything, like, yeah, and it works, man. It's tremendous way to stay fit, and if you're not already, to get fit. So definitely rocking with the yoga.
Absolutely, man. I could definitely attest to that, man.
Yeah.
I've been doing yoga for a number of years, and when you're talking about how yoga helps you become more limber.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't realize about their bodies is that over years and years of taking beatings and stress and tension from whatever reason, your body tends to tense up and get very stiff. And
yes.
the great thing about yoga, if it allows you to release the tension from your
Mm-hmm.
body. But as you
Right.
release the tension, you're releasing the causation of the tension.
Right.
So you're training your cells to remove whatever stress, whatever tension, whatever happened that caused that muscle or part of the body to become very stiff,
Mm-hmm.
to change the cellular makeup of that part of the body. So
Right.
whatever created it is being removed. So
Exactly.
as you're doing more yoga and you're making the body more flexible, you're actually removing the stresses of life that created it. So
Exactly.
yoga is really good for changing your dynamics physically and
Yes.
mentally.
Yeah.
And it's also really good for the mind because it causes you to. I call yoga kind of like moving meditation
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
in today's world, a lot of people like to work out to music, move really
Mm-hmm.
fast, because people get bored really easily.
Right.
Um, yoga causes you to slow down
Mm-hmm.
and think through every movement. So you're kind of like, while you're going through yoga, a lot of stuff is going on in your mind because you're slowing yourself down and
Yeah.
you have time to think and you see a lot of things that's going on in your mind and it's kind of how do I want to say it? I use this example
Mm-hmm.
when I'm running or when I'm like doing some sort of workout, because I'm moving so fast I don't think as much. But when I'm
Right.
doing yoga, because I'm not
Yeah.
moving fast, I think more.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
when those thoughts come up, it kind of challenges you to face those thoughts, but also to stay in position
Right.
while those thoughts are going on in your head. So it
Yeah.
causes you to see those things and stay posed, even
Mm-hmm.
if it's things that might not be pleasing or stuff that's going on in your head that might be challenging. But it
Right.
helps you to work through the thoughts in your head. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no doubt. No doubt. And then yeah, like I said, I mean, it's just worked out so great for me. And again, I mean, we're not like saying, oh, you should do yoga, like this is what, because we do it I got over COVID pretty quick, because I did. We're not saying that at all. We're just making, pointing out that this is something that has helped us, from Benny's perspective for several years, and then it helped me in the short term. I mean, I think I've only probably been doing yoga for about 4 months now,
Mhm.
but I've done it before, just kind of sporadically. But now I'm like in an actual like program where I'm doing it like every single day, at least once a day. So again, we're not saying, well, you need to do yoga so you don't get COVID. We ain't saying all of that. We just said, it's worth to check out. You can't knock something until you try it. So again, I mean, and if people want to make comments or say, well, y'all doing yoga, you be working out, like I do that too. Like I lift like every day. I'm a 4 times a week, and I squat every time I work out. I don't, and I'm squatting like heavy. You know what I'm saying? Well, most people would probably be like, that ain't nothing, but for me, like, yeah, I mean, 225, like every time. And then if I on the heavy days, I'm up to 365, so yoga actually has helped me with that, because before, like if I would lift, especially if I would do legs, I wouldn't be able to do legs until the next week. I wouldn't be able to, do, because I'd be so sore. But yoga actually helps release and helps you recover faster from working out. And I'm not like throwing these numbers out to be like, oh, I'm this and that. I mean, there's billions of people out there probably much stronger than me and lift much more than me. So I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, I'm not like trying to say that all chest out or anything. I'm just saying that, for me, like I never could do legs like back to back, but now I'm doing that every time, every week, and it's great, man. You feel a lot better. Squatting, that's like a testosterone building workout. So in that, my age, that's when things start to kind of decline, but I feel like I'm getting better, so yeah. So just take it for what it's worth. That's all I could say.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you sharing your experience with yoga.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to do it.
COVID, definitely.
Man, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the vaccination, man. Like
okay. Yeah. I mean, I really don't. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of people have different opinions about the vaccination, especially like, when they experience situations like yours, they might change their opinion about the vaccination, depending on how it affects their ability to move around the world or their business or whatever other reason.
Right.
But, everybody has a different opinion about it based on how they observe the facts or the information. I can't say facts. And how they determine how that affects them. How do you feel about the vaccination now?
Right. Well, I have very little to say about this topic. Well, not really, but so my opinion on it is it's open and shut. It's your personal decision. It's everybody's personal decision whether they should get it or not, and that's how it should be. It's a very touchy subject. It's a subject that people are very passionate about. Some people aren't passionate about it at all. They could care less. They can just, people either they were with getting it or they weren't. I'm not gonna basically what all I'm saying is that it's up to the individual, if and that's how it should be. The fact that like governments and everything are starting to push this, make this potentially make this mandatory for people to get. I think that's kind of unfortunate. I think that people should have the right to choose what they do with their bodies. And I think this situation is, it's a very touchy very touchy subject, unfortunately. All I can say is that it's your decision, it's your choice. Don't let anybody influence you either way. If you got people that saying you should get it, don't let that deter you if that's not what you want to do. And then in the inverse, if you got people that are saying, you shouldn't get it, but you feel like, hey, this is gonna make my life easier, this is gonna make my life a lot simpler, I'm gonna be able to travel without, any roadblocks, then that should be your decision, plain and simple. But nobody's but your own, for sure.
Absolutely, man. I'm definitely in agreement, man. I think everybody should weigh the options of how, the vaccine affects them or how COVID, the whole situation affects them personally, with their business and other factors in their life, and decide whether or not that's something that they should do or not. I don't try to be anyone who says like, you should do this or you should do that. Let your opinion be your own. Whether you decide to get it or not, it should be strictly personal, you know what I mean? And for whatever reason you choose to do it. And
Yeah, man. I mean, that's simple. That's plain and simple right there. Because like, we talk about other stuff on here and we're saying, well, we're not advocating, for people to do it. We're just saying that this is what works for us, and this is a prime example of that, because again, we're definitely not going to sit up here and tell people what they should do when it comes to this, because this is beyond like, anything that we've had to deal with. I mean, I can't recall a time in my life where this has been like something where you had to make a choice, like whether to get something or whether to do something or not. That I don't think that's ever happened in my entire life. From
Right.
from the standpoint of where we're at with this, where governments are like, making it, going to stretches where they're making it mandatory and things like that, So I've never experienced nothing like this. And I don't think any of us have, and it's, like I said, it's a touchy subject, but again, we gotta talk about it though. We gotta give our give our 2 cents on it. But mine is just always been, it's your personal decision what you want to do. So again, don't let nobody try to sway you, try to deter you from taking you off your square. If you with it, you with it. If you not, you not. And that should be the end of it.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, definitely. Like you said, man, it affects everybody differently. And,
Yeah.
I think there's been a number of people that have been adversely affected by it, um, from the vaccine and from not getting the vaccine. So everybody
Right.
has a different opinion of it. Um, Also, like you said, this has probably been like the first time in our lifetimes where something like this big has affected the way we move throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
That could affect your livelihood,
Yep.
and it's unfortunate that people may have to be pinned in a situation where they have to get it if they choose, if their choice is not to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you have to weigh, this is my livelihood of my family versus not getting the vaccine.
Right.
So everybody has this balancing act that they have to do to determine
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they're going to get it. But like you were saying, that it's your choice.
Yep.
You have to look at it from your perspective and decide whether or not
No
you're going
doubt.
to.
Yeah, man, for sure. So that's it, man. We this was a great conversation, great talk. I was happy to talk about my experience with it. Um, my hope is that this show reaches some people. I don't care how many. If it reaches one person and they want to send us a million questions about what I went through, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. So with that said, as far as housekeeping goes, thank you to our sponsor, Canyon 3D, greatest 3D printing company in the world. Facebook, we are on Facebook at the number 2 Minds Connect, and then you can find us on Instagram. Please follow us. Please share our content, and our Instagram handle is at the word 2 Minds Connect. Benny, any final thoughts?
No, I just want to say thank you to all our supporters, everyone out there that's watching. We greatly appreciate all your contributions, even if it's just watching and viewing it. We appreciate you. And to my brother Ty for another episode, man. I appreciate you. Much
Yep,
love to you, man. And
no doubt.
keep getting better, keep getting stronger, man, and keep moving forward.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody out there who supports us, supported our show, all the new followers that we've gotten, all the great comments and likes and everything. Much appreciated. To everybody out there, just be safe. Please just be safe. Take care of yourself, take care of your bodies, take care of your minds. That's all. We only get one, so you gotta take care of it. And again, not advocating anything. We're just sharing our experience. And if you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions on the show, don't hesitate to leave one on any of our platforms, and we'll definitely get back at you. So again, thank y'all for joining us this week. For Ty Canyon.
And from Benny Martin, man.
We want to say peace, and y'all take care.
All right, man. Peace.